Hey, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Unfiltered Heart, the podcast where we talk about life, love, and the occasional crisis over a cup of coffee, tea, or some wine. And I promise you, there's absolutely no judgment here. So, what is the Unfiltered Heart about? Like, how do I say this? The Unfiltered Heart is really about all the thoughts going through my mind, like based on what I see, what I hear, what I've experienced, and the questions that it leaves me with that I debate by myself. And I have now chosen to share this on my podcast so that we can debate about it because what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about my thoughts? If I can say it that way. So today we're diving into a question that has really been gnawing at my soul. And maybe it's me. Maybe it's just a me thing. And if it is, please feel free to let me know. So the thought or the question going through my mind at the moment is, what has love become in today's world? Am I the only one thinking about that? Am I the only one stepping into the dating world wondering, like, okay, this is really not the way it felt a few years ago. And maybe life has just moved on to different ways and means of doing things. And I've just been stuck under a rock somewhere or in a relationship, I guess. And it wasn't necessary. Oh, well, of course it is necessary. But I mean, like wanting to step into the dating world and finding love. I'm not sure that we all see love in the same way anymore. So I ask myself, am I just old school? Am I just a hopeless romantic who still believes in mixtapes and getting handwritten love letters and growing old together in matching rocking chairs, sitting somewhere on your stoop and drinking coffee? I mean, like, who doesn't love a beautiful handwritten note or even a letter? And if we go back to, well, I'm obviously not talking about love in the day and age that I'm about to mention because time has moved on. But going back to like being in high school, having a crush, getting handwritten letters that is sent with a friend, and it starts off with date, time, place, thinking about, listening to, and the letters, they set the tone already before you even got to the content of the letter. So I'm not talking about that kind of love because that is like the cutesy love that we had when we were much, much younger. So let's be real. Love is something so beautiful. It has somehow turned into a game of convenience, right? Or am I the only one noticing that or feeling that? Because we're out here falling for potential red flags that look like carnival decorations and holding on to breadcrumbs in relationships that barely qualify as situationships. Have we become so desperate to love and be loved? And is it to love and be loved, or is it to say that we are in love with somebody or we are being loved by someone? Because I find that there's also a lot of comparison. So either comparison or because society believes I need to be in a relationship to almost feel normal or like I fit in. And once you're in a relationship, the next question is, so when are you getting married? And when you do get married, the next question is, so when are you going to have a kid? So at what point did life become this tick box exercise where at a certain age, you have to be married? And after you do that, you have to have a child. Um, and it's almost like you feel judged if you are not in any of these little phases of life, or when you go to a family function or a friendship get together and you're the only one that's not married or never been married. You don't have kids, you're not pregnant at the moment. And it's almost like you're abnormal for choosing to have a different life. Or when you do have a kid, but you're not married. There's some people think Jesus is hiding and they just start judging you for where you find yourself. But Has the question ever come up that maybe you chose that route for your peace? And is your peace not more important than following what society wants you to follow? So let's dive back into the question. And, I don't want anybody to get me wrong. I'm not saying that real love doesn't exist anymore. I do see people in relationships where real unconditional love is so visible that a blind man can see it. I'm just saying that somewhere along the way, it started feeling like a clearance sale. Take what you get, no returns or exchanges. And I have to ask, why? Is that what love is now? Is that take it or leave it? Is it that we're okay with lowering our standards so that we can just settle and fit into what normal should look like? Is it low self esteem? Do I not believe that I'm worthy of, the most beautiful love story? Is it a lack of self love? Is the childhood trauma that is just showing up in your relationships, be it romantic relationships, be it friendships, relationships at work? Or have we become so selfish that we only want love in ways that fit into our schedules, our emptiness, or our loneliness? I mean, everybody's out here either authentically wanting to build their own empire. Some people are out here wanting to build an empire because my neighbor has one. And in all of that, we choose when we want love. So if I have a gap in my schedule, whether it be between 2 and 4, I can fit love into that. Or I have everything, I have achieved everything in life, I've built my empire. Yes, you continue to build it, but you are at the peak of where you want to be in life. And even surrounded by all this beauty, all the success, all the nice things that you always wanted to have, you still feel empty. Or is it when we feel lonely? So when my friends are not available, when I don't have anywhere to go, where the Netflix and chill on your own doesn't feel so great. So what do? I call someone up and I ask them to come over because I'm feeling lonely. I just need them to fill that small temporary void and then leave. So is it that we want love or is it that we want to fill a gap? And you see that more and more in today's day and age. So let's do some self reflection. And this is really for you. If you choose to comment with your thoughts, um, if you choose to comment with some questions, I would absolutely love that so that we can remain connected and let's engage on the topic. What are your thoughts about it? But for the reflection, look yourself in the mirror, take a deep look into the mirror, and be honest with yourself. You don't have to be honest with me. You don't have to be honest with your partner. And only with the self reflection in other ways, it means you have to be honest. So I'm not encouraging dishonesty, um, but I am encouraging you to do some self reflection and to be honest with yourself. So if you think about this, let's look at a few questions. I think I have about 6 of them. You're welcome to write them down. You are welcome to write it down and at a later stage, go through it in your quiet time while you're having a cup of tea, while you are having a glass of wine, when you have some quiet time to really sit and reflect. So, question 1: do I love my partner for who they are now or who I hope they'll become? So we fall for people and we meet people, and it depends on where this relationship stems from. Does it stem from a healed me, a whole me, wanting to add to my life? Or does it stem from a place of desperate love, desperate loneliness, wanting to be in love with somebody, being okay with settling because my fear of being alone is much bigger. So I would much rather not be alone and get hurt because I really don't want to be alone. Okay, so we take in people that don't match exactly what we are looking for, and we believe in our heart of hearts that we will fix the person, or the person will fix themselves along the way because they will eventually notice that I'm worthy of them fixing themselves or changing certain things. So we're not here to change anybody. If somebody loves me and they understand that there's certain things about them that doesn't sit well with me, they need to choose to heal. They need to choose to work on that first for themselves because they also don't see certain behaviors adding value to their lives. And as a ripple effect, I benefit from that. Because when you have somebody wanting to change for you, it either ends up feeling very, very draining because now it's work, it's effort, and it could lead to your partner resenting you eventually, depending on how hard this change is for him or her. So, the second question that I want you to reflect on is if nothing ever changed about your partner, would you still want to do life with them? So if you have certain boxes that are unticked, or your partner has certain boxes that are unticked, that you are at one stage willing to settle for, if nothing ever changes, if they don't choose to do the work, choose to heal for themselves, would you still want to do life with them? Are you okay with living with the unticked boxes? And then we flip it a bit. So question 3, am I valued for my heart, my mind, or am I mainly valued for what I can provide or what I do provide in the relationship? So I'm not saying you shouldn't provide. I do believe that in a partnership, both parties do provide, and it's based on how you split it or what you agree on. But if you are the only one providing, we look at the worst case scenario, you're the only one providing, or you are providing gifts, um, whatever it is that you are providing, if you have to stop that, so if you stop providing what your partner loves, or you get to the point in your life where you are unable to provide what your partner loves, would they still stay with you? Question 4, do you feel safe, seen, and heard in your relationship? Does your partner challenge you to be the best version of yourself? And again, if you are the partner, or both partners should do this, but if, as an example, I challenge my partner to be the best version of himself, because I know that there's more for him, I know that there's better, I know what he wants to achieve, and I will be his cheerleader until he gets there. And I will be there to hype him up when he meets obstacles along the way. But you find people where you choose to challenge them to be the best version of themselves, and they feel or they see that as an insult, or they see that as you don't think I'm good enough. Um, you want more, and therefore you are doing this, but you are belittling me. Then you are involved with somebody that is not fully healed because they choose to see it as being unworthy and not being enough, instead of seeing that you have this amazing partner that is going to hype you up and a partner that knows that there's so much more out there for you. Question number 5, am I staying? Sorry, so are you staying in your relationship because it is love, or does it just feel familiar? So if we look at it from a comfort zone and an unknown, uncomfortable zone. We love staying in the comfort zone, but it's outside the comfort zone that you grow. It's outside the comfort zone that you heal. So if you are in a relationship and you are in that relationship because it feels familiar and you do not want to step into the unknown, the unfamiliar, then I think you really need to ask yourself more questions. And you really need to take stock of whether or not you are there for the right reasons. And then my final question for you to reflect on. If you imagine letting go of your relationship, do you feel heartbreak or do you feel a sense of relief? Do you feel that that is the point where you will be able to exhale? And if it's the latter, you need to run. You literally need to run, because if you are staying in a relationship where you feel like you cannot exhale, or where you feel like leaving this relationship will make you feel such a huge sense of relief, then my heart breaks for you. Okay, so that's the 6 questions I leave you with for reflection. And it's reflection and a stock take on where you find yourself in a relationship. Because let's not lie to ourselves. If love is just about convenience, appearances, material things, feeling comfortable, staying within the familiar, what happens when things change? And when things change, I want to focus more on the material things, the physical. What happens when the hair thins, when the 6-pack becomes a 1-pack, when, God forbid, the bank account takes an unexpected dip? Does the love go with it? I mean, how would you feel if you are being loved for what you can provide, and the moment you cannot provide, the love is gone, the partner is gone? And speaking of love, let's talk about real love, or my opinion of real love. The "do you still choose me when I'm annoying" kind of love, when I'm insecure, when I'm difficult kind of love, when I have had a bad day and I take it out on you and not intentionally. And please, if you do that, own up to it and apologize. The love that 1 Corinthians 13 talks about, the love that is patient, that is kind, and that doesn't keep score like a toxic referee. Or have we embraced love into something else? Sorry, have we rebranded love into something else? Have we turned hurting each other into a twisted version of love? Have we normalized "better the devil you know" instead of demanding the love that we truly deserve? Let's face it, who wants to know the devil? So I leave you with this. Maybe it's time to take stock. Maybe it's time to ask yourself the difficult questions. Like, am I truly loving? Am I truly being loved? And if the answer makes you uncomfortable, maybe it's time to do the real work, to heal, to grow, and to let love be love again. Okay, so that's my 2 cents. Maybe it's 5 cents. Maybe it's more. Um, but I want to hear from you. DM me, comment on this podcast, comment on my TikTok page, send me a voice note, write me a love letter, my favorite, whatever works for you. Let's keep the conversation going. So, until next time, love well, love real, and please stop falling for potential and stop wanting to belong to the Republic of Red Flags. Let's chase the unfamiliar and let's chase the green flags.